Welcome back to another Voice in the Void, everybody. I've got your host, as always, Brandon. And with me today, I have a special guest.
Me, Laziena. I'm your special guest. I was waiting for you to mess up my name.
That's why I had you do it.
I knew there was a trick to this trade. I'm learning things here. Yeah, I am Laziena. I am the creator of the relationship repair language. My work tend to focus on helping people understand what they actually need during conflicts, and so that conversation can move towards more repair instead of disconnection. I think that I have this dream. I want all of our little boys and our little girls to grow up together. And usually, whenever there's a conflict, that's who it's just two younger people, version of us. One wants to be loved, the other one wants to say, "Look at me, I'm trying to love you," and the other one's like, "I don't know how to receive this love." And then we end up walking away from each other, and relationships gets messy. So I developed a language to help that gap. I really believe it's a missing piece in conversation, and I like to talk about that. I like to talk about, the missing moments when you're in a conversation with someone and then the present, like they have left, the presents have left, and build upon that. So that's these. I feel like these are conversation that we should be having more of at the dinner table or any table. I think
Mhm.
that by avoiding them is where we end up losing one another. So I'm all about the connection.
So you are so to speak, a therapist for relationship wise.
I wouldn't say therapist, but yeah. I
Not
like
yet.
to.
We're not calling you Dr. Phil yet.
No, 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 no. No. And I'm also not achievement based, so I won't. um, I think I would say that I'm more of a companion or a guide because
Okay.
it's I'm along the journey too. I'm also doing it with you. To me the way I do it is so much it's fun and it's engaging. So I get to learn about you, you get to learn about me while we're in the space of repair. So I think I
Okay.
like to say that I'm a companion because that's what the Lazine experience is all about, to be in relationship with others.
Okay.
Yeah.
So could you give I know you touched a little base off it. Could you give an example of let's say a conversation starter you would try to have people jump into?
Yeah, I mean, so what I like to do, and I have a lot of workshops that I'm doing that are no cost for this,
Mhm.
is I like to say, I'm inviting you to sit at the table with me. And at this
Okay.
table, we're going to take our internal shame or blame and we're going to put it in a different bowl because we don't want it to be the thing that affects us from having a communication. So we'll put
Right.
the shame there, but let's bring in curiosity. Now, how do you behave when you're angry? What is it? What does that look like? What is
Right.
it that you need? And what is the other person receiving? But more importantly, how would you like to feel supported? So I'll use myself as an example. When I'm angry, you can tell my nostril starts flaring. I get like real mad. My eyes get bug eyed and I can cut you down in like 3 seconds. I
Mhm.
rage, I get mad and I'm cussing you out and all of this stuff, right?
Mhm.
I've even gone so far as starting throwing things. I mean, it can be very, very toxic. But then on the other side, when I'm not upset, I'm the most loving person. I just want to be in relationship. I talk very sweet, very loving, but when I'm angry, that's not what's happening. So whether I'm at work or I'm at with my family and friends or with my children, what does that look like? I am
No.
so angry. Most of the time, it's because I want to feel heard. I want to feel significant. I want to feel like I belong here. But that's not what's happening. Internally, it's what I grew up learning that I I grew up in a culture that's very minimizing of women
Mhm.
and women play small. So inside of me, I have this desire to be heard and to be part of community. But when that's not happening, my little girl now, the little one inside of me is like, but don't you see that I'm trying to talk to you and you're not listening to me? And then I go into blame and I start to get that angry. So at the core of it, I'm not feeling heard. I'm not feeling understood. I'm not feeling like I'm part of something significant. So I will get loud, and that comes out in anger, like frustration.
Yeah.
Whenever someone is trying to help me in that situation, they're probably like telling me to calm down, or we can do, you're acting crazy, whatever the word is that's happening when someone's angry. I'm not receiving that, because what I really want from somebody is to use one of these six languages that I created, which is the one that I like is the empathic one. I just want you to take yourself out of your shoe for a second, put it in my shoe, and understand what is happening with me. That doesn't mean that everybody has to do that. But if you are somebody that I'm in a relationship with and I care about you and you care about me, this is how I would feel supported. So if I'm at work and my coworkers see that I'm upset, that would be the time for them to come to me and be like, "Hey, let's go outside for a walk. Do you need a space to just vent?" Instead
Mhm.
of trying to calm me down or telling me to look at it differently or change my behavior, is giving me the space that I need to be able to release whatever that is, so that I can stay present in the connection and the conversation. And that can look differently from different people. So I basically like to go to four core emotions: the anger,
Mhm.
sadness, resentment, and overwhelm, because those are the ones that really causes conflicts in relationships. And that's the one that when we deep dive, like just based on what I said, I'm sure stuff came up for you, right?
Yeah, so, uh, actually, one of my emotions, when it gets heavy, I guess, when I start to get a certain side of angry or whatever it might be, one, I get a little tanner.
Hmm,
I I
yeah.
I turn red,
Yes.
um, but I get really loud, and I already have naturally a loud voice,
Hmm.
but I get loud. But actually lately, when I've had issues like that, I have actually cut all the way down. So it's one of the things where I will just more or less turn everything off. I won't hear anything that's going on around me unless I choose to, which
Hmm.
I can already do that anyways. Like I can pick and choose what I want to listen to.
Yeah.
Um with any type of conversation. If I'm it doesn't matter if I'm mad or whatever at that point, but uh lately when I'm mad, cuz I've never raised my hand, like I've that's one thing I can say. I've never raised my hand to my wife out of anger. We've always been back and forth. I'll follow her. I used to follow her when we're mad, hey, no, we're not done with this conversation, da da da, but she's done with it. Um, but I have managed to make it where I turn it down and I'll
Hmm.
stay quiet. And then that's when it kind of gets pointed out that, hey, you're not resolving anything by just staying quiet. It's like, I'm taking a minute because if I go on, it's not going to get any better.
Yeah.
So
And
I've learned with it, and
yeah.
it's been a long time of learning with it because I still say till this day, probably always will have. I have a very big chip on my shoulder. Sure, it's been knocked off once or twice, but I've always put it back there. And sure, my ego might be a little too big for me, but it's one of the things where it's me. So, like with arguments with other people, I like to I do a friendly argument, which I know it tends to piss everybody else off, but if you look at me and I'm laughing while you're furious, like you should be able to tell it's a joke, but
Yeah.
it doesn't always work that way.
Yeah.
Um, but
And see, that's where like sometimes the connection slips, right? Because when we are in communication with each other, one person wants to be heard and the other person might be hearing there's a flaw within me, or this is
Mhm.
how I always behave, or it can come off as blame.
Mhm.
And so the art of having that conversation is like, for example, when you're upset, right? And
Yeah.
I'm using that because I relate to it. When I'm upset, what I need, I know that we cannot get rid of our emotions. There are
Right.
messengers. They teach us so many beautiful things. Like a lot of people are afraid of anger, but when anger turns into rage with the intent to harm, that's a different story. And harming someone, that doesn't necessarily mean physical. It could mean that it's cutting them down with words and saying a lot of insulting things.
Yeah, the
But
verbal and mental attack.
yeah. And on the other side of it is that it's my passion. It's what fuels me. It's what makes me want to you know, advocate for other people. It's what gives me the drive behind pursuing my purpose and
Mhm.
like just advocating if I need to. Whatever that comes up,
Yeah.
anger can be useful. So we're not going to ever be able to get rid of our emotions. So how do we feel safe in it with the people that we love and care about? Because like you said, if you're quiet and what's happening when you're quiet? For me, it's like I'm angry. I want to be heard. I need to get this steam out of me. I want to blame. I want to get mad. I want to punch. I want to scream or whatever the case is. So, the repair language, I have one called spacious, and that's what allows for that space. So, when
Mhm.
I use my daughter, for example, when she's upset, she can't hear anything from me. She does not Nothing I say is gonna soothe her. Nothing I say is
Right.
gonna make her listen to me in any kind of way or be receptive to that feedback because her nervous system is already like out of coherence. Like her
Yeah.
nervous system is the first thing that's like, I'm not safe. This is not safe. But what I like to do is there's two spacious is two different ways. One, it's like, I don't know what I'm feeling right now. I need some space, but I'm going to come back. That's making a commitment to the person that you're in relationship with to say, you're valuable to me and I want to finish this, but I don't want to say something that's going to hurt right now. I really want to figure out
Mhm.
what's going on. The other one is that you give each other that space. All right. You have 10 minutes. Get your anger out. Say whatever it is that you want to say. Whatever you say here is not going to be used against you later on. I just need you to, because that anger needs to be expressed so we can see
Yeah.
what's underneath it. And that might mean me triggering her even more. Like if she's upset, I may attack her so that she can get even more angry so she could feel it at 100% because once you blow off that steam, then the nervous system is like, oh man, I really just needed to release that. Now I can have a more calm conversation. The
Yeah.
beautiful thing about that is being witnessed in that space and you're most vulnerable
Mhm.
by the people that love and care about you. So now, let's say next week there's an argument. That argument is done so differently. It's done so much more healthier that you can celebrate that. Wow, I'm so proud of you because you really like showed up. And even when you were angry, it was really your little boy who never got a chance to throw a tantrum, who
Mhm.
didn't get that chance to and again, this isn't blaming our parents in that way where they did some parents have done things to cause us
Mhm.
to do that, but at the same time, our parents were not emotionally aware to know what
Yeah.
feelings were in the first place. When
Yeah, when you're a
we
kid, you want your parents to be able to tell what's wrong
Right. Yeah.
without them saying what's wrong, and
Yeah.
it's impossible to mind read.
Yes.
As of 2026, as far as we all know,
Yeah.
mind reading is not a real thing.
It really
But
isn't. Yeah.
but I get that in a sense too, because there's certain things when I was younger, there is uh there's a minor resentment, if you want to
Mhm.
say,
Yeah.
uh because there are things that happen that you I wished my parents would have read into.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
because you see the different emotions, you see the different outcomes that's coming up, and that I'm sure that's part of where the attitude had came in.
Yeah.
Because again, I know I used to have a very bad attitude,
Mhm.
which I still do, but I know how to control it better. And
You know when it's
uh
appropriate to use.
yes. And like I know when for the most part to keep my mouth quiet, not always, but it's still it's one of the things where it's a fallback.
Mhm.
So, like, I don't know about you, but when I was being raised, it was a thing that, hey, you don't cry, you don't show them type of emotions. If you're mad, sure, go pick up a stick and hit the tree in the backyard, but that's it. You don't
Yeah.
and um for a long time, I it took me time to think that that's not the proper way.
Yeah.
And I've been explaining that to my kids. Sure, when they're crying, I'm like, "Hey, do you have a reason to cry?" And whatever it might be. If you do, go walk over here. Just give me a jump on why you are.
Mhm.
Like, let me know, hey, it's a bad time, bad feeling, whatever it might be. Then you walk off, go do your thing. That's fine.
Yeah.
Um, but I it's still hard for me to cry because I'm still in a mix, stuck in the ways I was raised up into.
It's never safe to
Um,
cry, yeah.
right. And but I don't like to cry in front of people because I've always been considered the strong one.
I hear
So
you, man.
so
Same.
crying in front of people, it makes you more vulnerable, makes you feel weaker, so to speak.
Yeah.
And I'm not about that. Uh Like, my
I will
nickname just so happens to be Grizzly Bear, and that my wife and kids gave me that nickname, and, there's certain people that when I talk to them, 'em, they'll say, "Hey, you actually look like this." I was like, "That's funny, that's my nickname." So,
yeah.
um, that's because also I have a roar. When I yell, I tend to have a roar. It, so to speak, can shake the house, and I've I've learned to back away from it a little bit, but it's always good to have that extra barrier.
Yeah.
And it is hard to let people in. Even when like say my wife, she knows things that nobody else in the world will know of me just sitting down doing what a lot of guys don't do and talk to the wife about what they're feeling or what might have
Mhm.
happened that no one knows. So I've explained that, we've talked about it, but it's also like, hey, letting you know now, if you ever bring this up to anyone or you
You will
throw
die.
it in my face, we won't continue.
Yeah.
Like,
Mm.
this is a very personal thing, and like, I love you with everything, but it's a personal conversation that will never leave, never be thrown back at me or anyone else.
Yeah.
And she understands that because I've told her some very, very private things. And she's told me a lot of private things. I am big on the respect and loyalty. If you can do that for me, I will do that for you. Or I'll do it for you and I'll still get stabbed in the back sometimes. Has happened a lot, family and friends. So um you just have to know when to and when not to. And that's something I'm still learning as well. I can't lie. I'm still learning that whole process.
Yeah. I
Um yeah.
Yeah, no, there's a lot that you said there that's impactful. I mean, the way I did this course one time and it's called Life Story. And in some ways it's kind of like timeline therapy. It's like
Uh-huh.
taking yourself out of it and observing your life in a timeline. So I've
Uh-huh.
learned so many things. There's this doctor, his name is Bowlby, and he's in the he's a psychotherapist in the UK. Well, he's dead now. But he developed the attachment theory, and it's also kind of like tied to the attachment styles in a way,
Yeah.
where the idea is that from 0 to 3 years old is when we learn our emotional needs, and it's when our
Oh,
nervous system learns emotional safety as well. So by age 7, if our parents are not on the other side of the healing journey, our limiting beliefs is already stuck. Like we're not good enough, we're never going to be
mhm.
good enough, or whatever that limiting belief is. And then by Age
Mhm.
13, that is when the belief take form and we make decisions and choices that reinforce that, and it recreates whatever patterns or whatever belief system in our lives.
Mhm.
Now, when I think about that and I look at my life in that kind of story and everyone else's life in that story, everybody has had a significant, emotional, impactful moment that's happened in
Mhm.
several of them, and it never went acknowledged because, again, our parents never had the tools to teach us that.
Yeah.
So, at like age 6, I believe that my father didn't want me. And so my adult self recreated those very same I'm not wanted in relationships in general. And I end up becoming a people pleaser and trying to earn love from other people
Mhm.
and sacrificing all of my needs. And the way I sabotage that is by putting men on a pedestal because I had a really great grandfather,
Okay.
and then when the little girl inside of me isn't getting the love that I want from my dad, that's how I punish men and I pull them off of the pedestal. And that
Okay.
comes out in emotion. So when I think about every single person, I have this vision in my head. It's like mom is holding a kid cooking at the stove, the older one yelling at the older one to make sure that the younger one is doing their homework. Dad comes home and he's abusive or he's a drunk or whatever.
Mhm.
Everybody have different kinds of trauma that happened in their lives. What did we learn? How did we even learn what emotional safety was? And then for
Mhm.
men, it's even worse because of the father energy teaches us, especially women, how to love ourselves. That's our
Yeah.
self worth. And the mother energy teaches us how to love other people. So
Yeah.
if we didn't have those met within us, then we don't know how to give and receive love. We're doing the best that we can with what we learn through movies, through like the admiration of loved ones who have had successful relationship, or we
Yeah.
didn't what we didn't like, and then we overcompensate in ways that allows us to be in better connection. So like when I there's a book that I read too called The Mastery of Love, and he gave two examples that really stayed with me. And it
Yeah.
really goes to the emotional impact that happened. So this kid is at the playground and he's running around like just being a kid, and mom senses danger because there's a car or something. So mom now goes and starts running after the kid, and the kid thinks mom is playing and is like running even more. And then when mom finally gets to the kid, she like smacks him because he wasn't listening to her to stop. In
Mhm.
that moment, what the kid learned isn't that there was danger and mom cared and mom was looking out. The kid learned that joy isn't safe.
Yeah.
And the other example is about a father spanking his kid, and the kid like just didn't learn that he could be safe. Now let's take that what you said about being a guy, right, and not feeling safe
Mhm.
and vulnerability. To me, men are just expected to be born and be able to build a legacy and carry this legacy over and be the protectors and be the one that stands strong and provide the safety in the environment. And if you cry, you are weak. And if you don't show your emotion, you have to be tough all the time because that's what a man is supposed to do. But I will tell
Right.
you, the most beautiful men that I have met are the ones who cry, the ones who are in touch with their emotions, the ones who are vulnerable enough to say, you know what? I'm carrying something heavy right now and I don't know how I feel about this, or I want to unpack how I feel about it. That is the most attractive quality in a man because when a man is in touch with his feminine side, then he is able to meet his woman when she needs him, when she needs
Right.
to feel supported. And I think like there's so much of that that's rooted in how every single person is brought up. Like we
Yeah.
all have a unique story, which is why
Mhm.
I love therapy and I think therapy is a great tool, but it's not a recipe book. What will work for
Yeah.
me is not going to work for you because the way that I raised my children, I was very mean. I was very authoritative. I was very abusive. And I
Mhm.
saw how that affect them being able to being in relationships, how scared they were of me, how that showed up in how they work, how they go to school, how they believe whether they're smart or not. And now that I learn how to do that differently, it's a much softer, more loving relationship because they have the space to rest their head when they don't know what they're feeling. They
Yeah.
have somebody that can look at them and be like, okay, well, your nervous system right now is still in fear. What is it
Mhm.
that you need, and how can I support you in that way? You know, it's being
Yeah.
able to give our children more emotional awareness. So when they are going out in the world, they're not looking for mom and dad to love them subconsciously. They're empowered in that love that they know they have for themselves, and they're showing up from the I, from saying that this is how I feel and this is what I'd like for my relationships to have, you know? So it's like I mean, I probably over talk a little bit there, but that's kind of
No,
yeah.
you're good because it makes a lot of sense of what you're saying, and well, in a sense, you are right in the sense that I've heard it a lot that guys that share the emotions turn to be the ones that a lot of ladies want until they get them. And that's what it is. A lot lately, it is when a woman gets a man that's more in touch with himself, they tend to turn their back on him because,
Oh, they're not
and
healed to do that. That's wrong. Ladies,
yeah, but it
just
does.
told you.
I know a lot of
Yeah.
people that has gone through that, and like me myself, I tell I say it like it's my tism that which I don't have autism at all, but that's what I say because I don't handle emotions well.
Mhm.
I never have. Ever since I was a little kid, if I'm in a sad room, I feel all the emotions
Yeah.
and then I get awkward and I'll start to laugh a little bit.
Yeah.
It's it's how I deal with whatever's going on, unless whatever is going on truly impacts me in its own, then I might cry, but I'll cry somewheres where I know people can't see me. Um, or I'll take a walk and I'll lap around a couple blocks and I'll come back and they're like, oh, okay, well, he was letting himself out, like letting himself air out, whatever it might be. But I've been in the situations where, oh, you show your emotions, cool, we love that until you do. And I've been with my wife now for 14 years. We've been married since 2021. Uh, but she's only seen me cry probably about 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
And it was my Meemaw's death, my other grandma.
Yes.
My grandma that died in 2021. Um, when her grandma died, because I was really close to her. And then recently with another situation that we went through a few months ago. Um, but I've never handled my emotions well. And I do have severe depression, severe anxiety, and I gained the anxiety over the past, I want to say it's been about 12 years because I've
Mm.
never been one to be anxious, never been one to go through all these different, I'm gonna say yuppies. Just I don't know any other word, so it's a yuppie because you don't know, and that's what you say a lot is yup,
Yeah.
yeah, yup. So, going through all those, I never knew how to handle my emotions properly.
Mhm.
So I would go out to where I would like to go fishing, where the most comfortable spot. There's people that don't go there too often, and when they see you there, they'll turn around, they'll go to another park. And it was right off of Riverside, so you're able to relax. Unfortunately, I live more than 20 hours away from that spot, so I can't just go there if I have that feeling
Yeah.
anymore. But I tell people that the minute I left the area I was in, it was like weight was lifted off my shoulders. Sometimes you got to remove yourself from
Yeah.
the home, the people, or wherever you thought was your comfort zone.
Yeah. I mean,
And I moved, well, 21 hours actually away from where I used to live. And Sure, I might get a little depressed though, but not very often anymore.
Yeah.
Like, it's like moving away pretty much healed that brokenness that I had inside of me.
Yeah. I gave
And
definitely
you
gave you
don't
some relief. Yeah.
yeah. So, like, and there's people that I seen that almost drew like a uh more or less an anxiety attack that and when I went up there to visit, it was almost the same thing. It's like I seen them and it almost drove me back. And it's one of the things where I had to think, I'm leaving in a few days. I don't have to stay. I don't have to see them often. I don't even have to mention their name and I'm okay.
Yeah.
But you get guys that they share their emotions. You get
Mhm.
people that know how to be in touch with themselves and they're a joke, they so to speak, like they get laughed at, they get criticized,
Yeah.
they go through all these harsher environments because they are showing who they are. And then you have people like me, which I call it um almost like you're trying to put on a show face.
Mhm.
And get me wrong, like I consider myself to be very real. I know when I want to say something, I say it. People hear me. I make myself known. And I can actually get in touch with that base, right? So you got me where sure I can't handle my emotions. I'm the protector of my house. I'm the provider of my house. I if something happens, I'm the one that has to take care of it. And the one thing I don't do is show my emotions, but I know how to show my wife. She is very loved. It took years, but just more or less every day and multiple times throughout the day, I'll tell her how beautiful she is, how pretty she is. Just when she's pissed off or mad, I'll be like, oh, look at that ugly, cute face of yours you're making right now. And it's just it's little remarks that have helped make her confidence boost, as well as it has helped grow our relationship better. Because for a long time, and a lot of people might know, but when we lived where we were, our relationship was slowly coming to an end,
Mhm.
and it was my fault because I was going through a lot of different uh mental breaks, so to speak. So I was trying to figure out how to deal with myself.
Yeah.
And she was one of them that kept me on my toes. And when she finally brought to me, okay, Brandon, I'm ready to leave and we'll give it a try somewhere else, we moved down here and it saved our relationship.
Yeah.
So, and she's helped me become a better dad to my kids because for a long time, sure, I was there every day, but I wasn't there every day.
Yeah.
Mentally, I was gone.
Yeah, you
So,
weren't emotionally present. Yeah.
yes. So, like, I was there physically, but yeah.
Yeah.
Um, And even everybody that's seen me, they can see a difference.
Yeah.
But I've become more, so to speak, at peace.
Yeah.
And it took a lot of time to get to how I am, but I'm here. I'm at a position in life that I truly think is best.
Yeah.
And anyway, being able to understand other people's emotions, which I can't, right? Like don't have the nearest clue of what other people might be going through, but I can relate in
Yeah.
certain standpoints. That's part of where conversations like this can help, right?
Right.
So like you can pass on some of the different knowledge to myself, to whoever else listens that might be able to gain a little
Yeah.
bit of knowledge base to look at people, be like, okay, maybe this is something I have to do so
Yeah.
it'll work better.
It's
Um yeah.
I mean, it's so interesting, like the dynamics in relationships, right? And this isn't I'm when I say relationships, I don't think about just a romantic relationship. We're talking about relationship altogether. Mother,
Mhm.
father, brother, sister, neighbor, friends, co-workers, and all of that, right?
Mhm.
Um, the the unfortunate thing is that, and it's not, and I don't think it's a man and a woman thing. I think it's just an emotional thing, right?
Yeah.
We just weren't equipped with the language. So I've been in relationships where I felt like I could do nothing right. No matter what I do, no matter how much personal development I did, no matter how much I worked on myself, I was still the problem.
Mhm.
And what I realized is that it's not that I was necessarily the problem. That opportunity gave me a chance to get to know me better. But people like to tell us how we when people like to tell us how we're being without also looking at how they're showing up. When it comes to relational
And also telling us how we're supposed to feel.
Right, exactly. And so when we are in relational conversation, the best thing to do is to relate. When we meet each other in the heart and somebody is sharing something, it takes a lot to share your vulnerability. And when you
Yeah.
share your vulnerability and then it's met with don't feel that way, or well, what is your part in it, or look at it this way, there's so many people who was ready to stop that from happening.
Yeah.
And I call it sitting in the mud. If I'm sad, I don't need solution. I need a friend. I need someone to say, "Wow, that is really hard." I will go a little bit off topic here. There's a difference between sympathy, empathy, and compassion.
Yes.
Sympathy is saying, I feel sorry for what you're going through. Empathy is saying, I have had that experience myself. And while it may not be the same thing, I truly understand how you feel. And
Yeah.
and share a story that encompasses how you can relate to that person. But it's also important for the other person on the other side to not take that as this person is trying to one up me. See it as they're understanding how you're feeling and they're there
Mhm.
with you and they're sitting in the mud. Like they are literally saying, I have been through heartbreak. I have been through divorces. I have been through the moments where I felt alone at 3 o'clock in the morning. And my heart is being pulled into five different directions. I just don't know what's happening. And or like that movie in the Saw movie where the person's on that bathroom floor and they're tied to the thing. Like that's what agony and sorrow can feel like. So when someone is sharing that vulnerability, being there with them and absorbing it and just staying present is the most beneficial thing you can do. And compassion is saying, you know what? I really understand all of this. And if you need a friend to call at 3 a.m., please know that I'm that friend. And compassion is saying, I want to do something about this. Doesn't necessarily mean that I have to. But I
Yeah.
find that when people have not met themselves on those deep levels, it's easy for them to dismiss it or to brush it off or give you a solution. And that is what breaks the connection. That
Yeah.
moment, somebody is now not feeling hurt, somebody's feeling uncomfortable. And then we end up walking away from one another. But when we stay in that connection, that is what builds friendship. That is what saying that person is my ride or die, or I know that I have safety there, that I can have
Mhm.
a conversation with that person. But oftentimes, people go on this personal development journey and they learn about patterns and then they use it to hurt other people, to say how that's how other people are behaving. And not
Mhm.
that this is brings me back to my framework, is that how am I behaving? What is
Yeah.
my relational responsibility here too? Because when I'm angry and screaming and my child is 2 years old, what are they seeing? How is
Mhm.
that fear stuck in their body and how is it showing up now when we're just having regular conversations? There's even times now when I'm talking to my kid and if I raise my hand, they kind of like flinch a little bit, and that was
Yeah.
because that's what I did. That's they didn't just naturally feel that way. So now when they're in relationship with others and it gets too loud, then that's that little part of them is still kind of triggered, and that's where they're going to hear things from, that's where they're going to see things from, that's where they're going to interpret it. So when someone is sharing their vulnerability,
Mhm.
and the best thing that you can do is stay there and honor it. First, thank you. Thank you for sharing that with me, because it takes a lot of courage to even bring that up, to even for a
Yeah.
man to shed a tear and then somebody using it against them. That it's so robbing of that man's masculinity and his courage. And
Yeah.
it's so demeaning. And then on the other side of it is that guy, I would encourage him to be proud of himself and still continue to do that, because it is not that him, is that person who have not
Mhm.
had that chance to meet themselves in that capacity to, well, they're gonna regret it because that's what they really want. They want to
Right.
be met, and I think one of the things that have really allowed me to see that was when I was 8, my dad was murdered. And I remember waking up and I went outside and everybody was crying. And when they saw me, they started bawling even more. And I was like, so my dad died, right? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, good. He's dead. He always abusive to my mom. We don't have to deal with that anymore. We can have a better life. And that was 8. What 8-year-old feels that way about their father? No 8-year-old should feel that way, but the adult me felt that way, right? I built those
Mhm.
beliefs and I packed them on. So it was like 2 years ago, I decided to actually take the time and grieve my father as my 8-year-old should have. And that's like
Yeah.
what we call like reparenting, right? But to pause for a second,
Mhm.
um, 6 years ago, I got a phone call from my now ex-husband, letting me know that there was some sexual abuse that happened between him and my daughter. And that broke up my entire family. So that led me, now I wasn't the breadwinner. I was only working part-time. So now I
Mhm.
had to become the head of the household, the one that took care of everything. So I had to step into my masculine. And
Yeah.
so when I went to go and grieve my father for that month, it allowed me to see the very thing that I didn't like about my father, which was his anger and his abusive ways and all of that, is what I was giving to my children. I was passing that on myself.
Mhm.
And so when I took that time to grieve him and forgive him and understand that he was only 30 when he was murdered and where he grew up and how would he have the emotional intelligence to know what unconditional love is, how to be a caregiver that understood that his children had emotional needs, how to be emotionally present, and
Yeah.
how did I do that to my own children? And how am I doing that for myself? It gave me a chance to really connect with my masculine and to love my masculine energy, because now I can honor it within a man. I can honor it
Mhm.
in males, in my brothers, in my uncles, in the coworkers at work that are male. So I can know what at the end of the day it is heavy, it is a lot of responsibility to carry, and you just want a soft place to land, and you're taking care of everything. But when you go home, you want the loving arms, the loving chest,
Yeah.
the way to just like breathe, man. And
Yeah.
so to to miss out on all of that opportunity for a woman, to miss out on that very opportunity where she wants a man to meet her, is also being able to do the work to meet that man where he needs her to meet him too. And so it's a lot to unpack, and it's a lot to get deeper underneath of. But this journey of like dismissing someone's feelings so instantaneously, look at all the history that I was robbing myself of. And I was carrying all of that without even knowing that that's what I was carrying, but dismiss it in a man. Because I have done that with my second
Mhm.
marriage. When my first marriage was very, very abusive, on my second marriage, I was like, oh God, this man is so soft. He's always crying. He
It's a
always
learned
needs me.
experience.
Yeah, it was like I was the problem. And I don't
Mhm.
say that from shame. I say that now from truly understanding that people deserve to be listened to. They deserve to be heard for their actual voice, because no matter what, we're going to have feelings. We're not going to be able to get rid of them. We're going to be
Mhm.
dysregulated. We're going to get mad. But it's being able to have the people in our lives that are like, man, I honor your anger. I honor your sadness. And let's sit down.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. Let's figure out what you need, what your emotional needs are, so that we can have a much more richer and more deeper, meaningful relationship. And then once we have that safety, man, do we have fun, right? Like we
Yeah.
know that's a person that I can go to whenever. So it
Yep.
amplifies the fun even more. Like we could
Mhm.
recreate a lot of the missed adventures that we didn't get from a more fun place.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely, and, I appreciate you sharing those different experiences you've gone through. Sorry for having to deal with that such a young age as well. That's insane. Um, Which no, I've lived through a lot of different things. I've seen my dad whenever he would go off his meds, and because he had severe bipolar, so whenever he went off his medications, he went insane.
Yeah, that's
And I
scary.
remember I remember being 4 years old, stepping in between him and my mom,
Oh
and
my god.
he never reacted at me. Thankfully, he did walk away. But he unfortunately, my mom would catch a lot of it. And, uh, going through those different experiences, which a lot of people don't know, but, going through those different experiences, it kinda taught me a thing or 2,
Mhm.
which that's where I guess, part of the, protector aspect, so to speak,
A
came
grizzly
up.
bear.
And yeah, yeah, so I've built it where this is my cave. If
Yeah.
someone comes in here, I will get you if you react the wrong way. I have no problem doing that. And it doesn't matter if, and I love my mom, I love my dad, I love my siblings. Doesn't matter who you are. If you come into my house against my wife or kids, I'm the one you have to deal with in the end.
Mhm.
And um, I've gone through a lot of different experiences, and unfortunately, my daughter has gone through a hell of an experience with her biological mother,
Mhm.
which I don't wanna say too far into that
I
because
understand.
I have certain things I wish I that's where Imma leave it. Um, but and it's one of those things where you don't see it.
Mm-mm.
Like, when you don't know what's happening, it eats you up once you find out.
Yep.
And
Regret
it's
and
similar to
remorse.
issue.
Oof.
Yeah, then you build up a whole new type of anger. You don't know how to express that type of anger. You don't know what you should or shouldn't do in the moments.
Mhm.
And it's like you figured out how you had to move on with it. Um Personally, I still to this day I have certain things where it's like I wish I would have known different back then on how to react, because only way I knew how to react was purely out of anger, and all I wanted
Yeah.
to do was go cause all the different harm. But I had my wife that she kinda, she kept me straight, kept me on that road that was much needed. And, when you have someone, because I didn't know how to do the whole relationship thing. My mom's been married twice and both failed marriages, and every relationship after that was failed. Sorry,
Mm.
mom, if you see this. But
It's
up
okay.
until
I give her
recently,
grace.
yeah, no, up until recently, and she found a guy that is he is a good guy. I'm sure he could be a little confused at times, but he is a good guy. And for the most part, they're figuring their stuff out still. But
Yeah.
um everything takes time, and that's why I've been trying to explain to people. Everything takes time. Like, we're getting my daughter under wraps with a lot of the different things she's been going through and dealing with still to this day. Um, but when you go through certain things, when you have, like, say you went through a relationship, your one marriage where it wasn't the best. You found out all this craziness. You may have taken some of it out on your second husband,
Mhm.
but you figured out that's not the way it should be.
Yeah.
It's a learned experience that, and a lot of people grow up with that. Like me, I've seen my mom get beat, thrown down the hallway, and I, I've managed to evade that part because I seen so much that had happened to her at that age, where even when I get the thought about certain reactions, I get pissed off at myself. But it's the learned experience. It's what you go through, and unfortunately, a lot of it's passed down. I do believe in the generational curse, so to speak. If you have a craziness that happened in your life, say your your grandfather, your grandmother, all the different issues if they whatever they might have gone through and it went to your parents and they made it either better or worse depending on which way they go, that would be passed to you
Mhm.
and it's for you to more or less figure out which way you're gonna go with it. But
Yeah.
a lot of times, if it's nothing but negative in your life that has happened, that's gone through, doesn't matter where you live. You might be in the suburbs, up in the hills in California, out in the ghetto strip of Dallas or whatever it might
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, you don't know.
Yeah.
Like, whatever experiences you're getting from those, Eh, a lot of times it is a generational thing. You're stuck in a hole
Mhm.
and you don't know where else to go, how to get out of it,
Yeah.
and you're figuring it out.
Yeah.
But how? What's the percentile of people that get out of those holes?
There's a lot of
Is
people who they don't even know that they're in it.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's just stuff they've grown up in,
Yeah, it's like, "Oh,
so
this
they
is
don't
normal."
know.
And
Yeah.
they're trying their best to do it differently, but
Yeah.
that may look different to everybody, right? Like, it's
Exactly.
not, and that's why I always say, like, I'm not really a therapist or a coach because I can't just go and diagnose somebody with I wanna be
Mhm.
curious about it. I wanna explore it. I wanna learn, what did you learn? What did you pick up? You know, because that,
Mhm.
and the exploration is where people, you get to know somebody really, because just because somebody has
Yes.
anger, that doesn't mean they're a bad person. It just means that they've
Exactly.
never had a safe space to be listened to, or there's a
Mhm.
they never had that tantrum to be able to throw that tantrum without getting spanked. Like you said
Yeah.
earlier, I only knew two emotions. I knew anger or sadness. And if I was angry, I was being ungrateful. And if I was sad, here's some food, feel better. So, that shaped my how I cope with loneliness. I'll eat, and then
Yeah.
when I'm not feeling heard, I'll react in anger. So it doesn't mean that people aren't love worthy of love and things like that. But there's also, we have to make sure that we don't continue to allow those generational patterns to
Yeah.
impact our life. That's one of the, like, I have a podcast called Breaking the Cycles. That experience with,
Breaking the experience and breaking the, generational curse is
yeah.
a hard thing to do.
Yeah, but it's possible too. It's like,
It
it's
is.
just stepping away. Like, you stepped away from the environment that you were in, and it gave you so much peace, because no matter what, like, we could have rigid boundaries, we could have porous
Yeah.
boundaries, or we could have healthy boundaries, but unless we make that decision to say, I really want to do differently. I'm recognizing this is how it's been passed down to me. I can't do that to my kids, which
Yeah.
is, it is, so we talked a little bit about the mother and father energy, right? As a child,
Yeah.
this is why I'm so determined to parent differently, right? Because
Mhm.
the mother energy towards a daughter, I have been that mother, and I have seen other mothers who are so stuck in their own cycle, their own need to be right, their own
Yeah.
way, that they cannot take themselves out of what they're experiencing to see how that's affecting their daughters.
What's that saying? It's my way or the highway?
Yeah, that is
And
such a
that's what it's
that
yeah.
it's so destroying to a girl, who how again, I had, okay.
Well, to a child in general, it's
Mhm.
destroying because
Yeah.
they hear about it so much, and if you go against it, against the grain, so to speak, it tends to be negative, nothing but negative that happens to you,
Yes. It's so
and the
damaging. Like, I see how my daughter's self-worth
Mhm.
is affected. I see how my son's self-worth is affected. These are very important things to pay attention to. And unfortunately, I almost lost my children. I'm very grateful that I got them back, but I also had to take a look and see what my role was in that. And that's not an easy thing to do, but
No.
when my daughter was 18, she moved out when she was 18 because of the sexual abuse. I had no idea. I wasn't even talking to her. But this was my daughter, my baby girl. Like, she was what gave me light when I had her when I was 19. So how did
I had my daughter when I was 17, just turned
yeah.
17.
So how would like of course I give myself grace and I forgive myself for the things that I've done, but I also know like it affects her relationship with other women similarly to my relationship being affected with other women. I saw my mom as a very strong and capable woman, especially how we growing up the way that we did because my dad was
Yeah.
always abusive to her, but she played subservient and she played small. So I had that energy of like not trusting women or not believing in women, but also I was sexually abused from the time I was like 3 years old. So when I think back about like those moments when that happened, I felt disgusted with myself. So me feeling disgusted with myself, my mom not knowing how to parent me from my needs, and my then I think I was a teenager and I got so resentful towards her, and I ended up not having good relationships with women, other women.
Yeah.
So that was sabotaging my own life. By looking at that now, I'm like, man, what the hell did I do to my own children? And that took it. I have a really good relationship with my children right now. They're the ones who taught me these repair
That's good.
language. But it took 5 years. It took 5 years to do the work to really learn what they need, how they were affected, how what I passed down to them, and then really choosing to do it differently every time, even when it didn't work out perfectly. To be
Time
able,
can do wonders.
yeah, to be able to do that with them, it's been incredible. So like I don't while relationship repair is important, that underneath it is what are the emotional needs? Because if someone grows up with
Mhm.
a mom who isn't emotionally present, how do they learn how to love other people? And if their father
Yeah.
wasn't emotionally present, how do they learn how to love themselves? That alone is a big, huge indicator of the unmet needs that we have. And we don't even
Yeah.
know that we're going around saying, you know what? Brandon, I don't know what my emotional needs are, but I'm going to expect you to meet them. And when you don't meet them, I'm going to punish you for it.
That's unfortunately how it is for a lot of people these
Mhm.
days.
Mhm.
It my again, mind reading is not it's
Yeah.
not a thing right now.
Yeah.
Sure, eventually it might be. They're working on studies. I've seen something about it,
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean it's gonna be a thing.
Mm-mm.
And you have to show some type of expression. You gotta say
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. Use
And
your words, use your voice. Like, yeah.
exactly, it's what your moms used to say when you were young. Use your words to tell me what's wrong.
Yeah.
And but a lot again, I don't know if it was the same for everybody, but at least in my household, if you're sad, you don't, or under my dad at least. If you're mad, sure, go pick up a stick, go hit a tree. That don't take it out on nobody else. Go do that. If you're sad, go pick up a stick, go hit a tree. If you're happy, go fun, run around, play with whoever you want to do.
Yeah.
But um, it's the expressing the emotion that had always been almost impossible to do.
Yeah.
And it's a very unfortunate thing, but it's just what it is.
Yeah.
People have again learned
In my hair.
experiences. Yeah, it's been a little crazy for a minute. It's okay. It happens. I have mine put.
I didn't mean to distract or interrupt my hair. I was like, man, I don't know how to fix it, but it's okay.
No, you're good.
Yeah.
There's a reason I wear the hat. Usually I don't have it in a ponytail. I just put up the hat and hide it
Yeah.
away because it goes all over the place. Um, but no, you have to know how to take your learned experiences and change it.
Mhm.
Because if you leave it the way it is, it can ruin
Yeah.
everything.
And it's like in those moments too, right? Like you were saying, like go hit a tree. Now, doing that with intention, yes, that is the thing to do, right? But let's say there's a kid who were bullied at school and they come home and they're like, Dad, I was bullied at school. And dad goes, okay, get a stick and go hit the tree. How does that child, right? know how to even process that. What that child needs is their
I
dad. Mhm.
my dad used to say, "Go picture them on the tree."
No.
Like like, imagine they're the ones you're hitting, and I've been through the times where I didn't have a stick,
Yeah.
so I used to use my hands,
Oh.
and unfortunately, I deal with a lot of carpal tunnel at the moment
Oh,
because of the
no.
damage I've caused,
Yeah.
but that's not necessarily from, other people. It is, it's me being mad at other people and not wanna go hit other people, so I chose to hit the hardest thing that I could feel,
Yeah.
and it was a tree. Whether I was pissed off at my dad, pissed off at someone at school, my boss, whoever it was.
Mhm.
Um, I found my way to
Yeah.
express that anger without taking out on others. Because trust me, if I had the opportunity, and unfortunately I never did, because Michigan is not a mutual combat state where Texas is. If it was, we could have got by with a lot of different stuff up there.
Yeah.
Um, but it's also, again, I never knew how to express my emotions. I never knew how to handle my emotions.
Yeah.
So whether I was sad, mad, just maybe a mix of both. It, it was hitting a tree, walking through the woods and hitting stuff randomly on the way to one of the rivers, and
Mhm.
um it's just different ways to express,
Yeah.
right? And nowadays, kids have you have music on the go you can listen to without the CD skipping along, or the tape burning up in the Walkman, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And that, personally, it's a good way to go. I'd rather do that nowadays. I have a speaker right behind me. I could, if my phone's low on battery, put it on top, it charges
Yeah.
it while it plays music.
Yeah,
So
oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, you're okay. I was just gonna say that's my way to go.
Yeah.
Like, I'd rather listen to music now. I can
Yeah.
feel the emotions in the song, whether it's a real emotion or a played out emotion. I can
Yeah.
feel it.
Yeah,
So,
I go to an inner child workshop every 2 months, and my children and all of us have done it, and they really teach you how to process emotions. And what I like about it is that when I'm processing, so like example, right, with that hitting the tree type of thing, right? What's really like the adult in us know that's what they meant, right? And that's what to do.
yeah,
But in that moment, that kid felt picked on. So that goes to their inferiority and superiority complex. And I don't mean it like in
yeah,
the basic terms. Like when we are not speaking up for ourselves, we feel inferior. When we are
yeah,
speaking up for ourselves, we are feeling superior. It can, depending on the energy that's charged behind of it, right? So in that moment, that kid, like if it's my child and my child comes home and says someone picked on me, it's because they didn't feel belonged and they didn't feel like they're part of a community and significant. That's what the core is. On the surface level, they're mad and they need to get it out. So yes, you want to express that anger to get it out. But I like to
yeah,
do it with intention. I would take myself out of, like, imagine that's the version of me that is upset,
yeah,
and
yep,
connect it to, like, okay, well, I'm here now to help you, guide you to this emotion, and
mm,
what that person did was not fair, and it was unjust, or whatever it is that that I need to hear in that moment. I'm sorry that this is happening. This is not a definition of who you are, but let's get this bastard, so to speak,
yeah,
right? And then do the act of hitting the tree. It's that acknowledging the emotional impact first and then expressing the feeling. And I don't, of course our parents didn't know how to do that. I'm sure, like for your example, your dad, that's how he was trying to get you to feel out the emotion. But behind of it is a little boy who still needed his dad to, like, stick up for him and get mad on his behalf or do something in that
well,
moment.
we would still go and deal with it at the school, or
Yeah.
he would not most of the time know the parents, and we'd go deal with it. And there, even when the bullying wouldn't stop,
Mhm.
it's one of the things. Um, I acted more or less like the kid was the tree.
Mhm.
And I didn't have a stick, I didn't do none of that, but I finally stood up for myself. Yeah, I got in trouble, but it's a thing where it was finally too much and I
Yeah.
made do with what I had.
Yeah.
And it's how it goes lately. You just gotta deal with it.
Yeah.
And or that's how they want you to do it, right? Because you can't just defend yourself like that, especially at school anymore.
I disagree
It's
with that, but
considered.
I understand.
Oh, so do I. So I do too. I believe very much so if they're hitting you, hit them back. Like, I believe in that very much so,
Yeah.
and I'm it's even to the point I'm teaching my kids how to protect themselves because I don't want them going through that, and they're not
Yeah.
at least not yet, uh, but there will come a time where someone may try,
Yeah.
and I want them to know that, "Hey, I'm not gonna punish you. I'll do what my dad did when I defended
Mhm.
myself against a bully.
Yeah.
I'll pick you up from school after we have that sit down with the principal,
Yeah.
but we're gonna grab ice cream on the way home."
Exactly. We're gonna celebrate this. And I mean,
Exactly. It's like, "You finally did it, let's do it."
yeah, and that's great that you got
Right.
that lesson, from your dad in that way. That's one of the most powerful things. I think if it's depending on everybody else's walk of life, not everybody got that, right? Not everybody got that
Right.
parent who were emotionally present to say, all right, let's process this out. Let's go down to the school. They might have gotten a little bit, why didn't you fight back? Or you got the, like something that
Or
kid.
you're getting in trouble for fighting back
Yeah.
nowadays.
Yeah.
And you're the one in trouble for fighting back. It's not the
Right,
other kid.
yeah. So it's like
So
these. No, 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 you're fine. It's like those emotional impact that went unacknowledged. I mean, there's times when kids will get slapped or there's actual sexual abuse that's happening or something that,
yeah.
worse that's going on, and people
Mhm.
are not having that space to like to feel acknowledged. Like that was a traumatic event that happened. You
Yep.
deserve to feel witnessed and seen in that and honored for whatever it is that you didn't get in that moment. And most of the time it's just we needed our caregivers to give us softness and to sit with us and give us a hug. And one of the things too for me, it's like I do a lot of inner child work, and I try to tell people too, like inner child work is not about blaming your parents. It's just acknowledging that in this moment, maybe I had a report card and I was super excited to share it. And then when dad came home, he was drunk and he didn't see it. And I felt neglected. Right. Or
Yeah.
mom was busy working 30 jobs. Like I know mom was working 30 jobs, but I still deserve to have parents who were
Mhm.
available emotionally to celebrate with me, or if I got a bad grade to make sure that that doesn't become imposter syndrome later on, or
Yeah.
whatever that is. It's just acknowledging that there was an unmet need, and then we can do it differently. And
Yeah.
just as much as we pass on generational trauma, we can pass on generational blessings now. We don't have to continue doing it in the same way. And
Right.
I talk about that a lot because it's how I repaired my relationship with my children. But I really believe that when we're in conversation, when we tap into that part of us that understand that somebody just has an emotional need that's they're not even aware of, then
Mhm.
we're able to separate the behavior from the emotion. We're able to separate the
Right.
behavior from the person and go beyond that pattern and see people for who they truly are on the underneath. Because I'll tell you, anger is one of my favorite emotions to express. Like, oh my gosh, pretend to be my
Mhm.
dad and cuss me out. I'm going to cuss you out. Like, after that is done at 100% for like 10 minutes, it's like, whoa. And then you get to share that experience with someone else. It's like, this is what I needed. And you stood up for me. You were there in that moment that I needed to just get this anger out. And it's not at you, it's just
Mhm.
with you, so to speak. And I think,
Exactly.
yeah, I think that's the kind of world that I want to create more of, just having that support system.
That that's a good type of world to get into because again, you have people that don't know how to express that.
Hmm.
And it may be something like that, a little role play into the point where you can finally get to say the things you've always wanted to say
Yeah.
without drawing any real say, emotional variations from other people.
Exactly.
Um,
Or get feeling
so
judged or shamed
yeah,
for having it. Yeah.
like sure, like I have this thing, right? Like I say I judge, but I don't. So I I see somebody, I try to picture some type of background that they might have had, but then when I talk to them, a lot of times they have the opposite, and it's like, oh wow. So my whole the fake movie I played out in my head, it's opposite. So,
Exactly.
but again, it's all is like imaginative. I'm not. It's not doing it out of any type of hatred. It's just solely off of curiosity,
Mhm.
right? And I do similar. You have a little off topic, but I have around here. You got a lot of homeless people.
Mhm.
Like you'll see homeless people everywhere, and I try to do this thing where I'm like, I wonder what their life may have been
Yeah.
before this. So, like, I'll play out different scenarios for people I see, and like, how do they get to this position, and
Right.
almost like creating a story. But like, I'm supposed to go talk to this one guy. He's a homeless guy. Here soon. Not today, but here in a couple weeks. Um, to kind of get a story. And again, this is a guy I've seen. I've never talked to him. But the one time seeing if he was available for it. And he's like, I'll be back in the area at this time. And it's like I've built a little story based around him that I'm thinking on. And just to see if I can do like a comparison to what it is now.
Yeah.
Like what actually happened in his
Right.
life.
Yeah.
And like it's almost like a fun challenge to me, right?
Yeah.
Like to see it am I close to what happened? Am I gonna be in the same like can I guess along the same scenario of what may have caused what's happening now? And it's one you'll see. Eventually we'll see. Like I'll have it up
Yeah, I'm excited.
eventually
Yeah,
whenever it happens.
that's a cool project, and that's such a beautiful. I acknowledge that's such a beautiful way of looking at it too, because you're not. I understand what you mean about the judging. It's like, okay, what am I thinking versus what's real? But
Uh,
you're. It's so
and
cool that you're open to even look at that because it's so true. Everybody has such different walks of life, and you never know what someone's capacity is and what led them there, and to
yeah,
to form judgment in I don't know exactly the word that I want to use here, but when we're judging and making it mean that we don't want to be around that person versus like, this is the judgment that I have, but what is the truth behind of it? I think it's so much different.
yeah.
Excuse me.
Well, it again, for me at least, I'm all about hearing everyone's stories and getting some type of acknowledgement to people that don't have that opportunity.
Yeah.
And like this guy, I see him every day. I pass by him on the street. He's
Yeah.
always talking to everybody at the bus stops. He seems like a pretty friendly guy, but again, he was in the military. He got out of the military. He had nowhere to go, nothing to come back to, whatever it might have been.
Yeah.
Again, creating that story in my head.
Mhm.
And then it's like, okay, but what if he just one day decided I don't want all of this. I want to just live out freely.
Mhm.
So it's figuring out what along the storyline it might be.
Yeah.
So it's getting the story. It's putting out there for people that may be able to understand, may be able to connect to, learn from, and share that they possibly share the same experience that guy might be going through or along the same lines.
Yeah.
And it it's just to gain different knowledge from different scenarios, different positions in life.
Yeah.
And it's like this, like considering a, so to speak, conversational relationship coach, and also as what I can see, a Pokemon trainer. Um, uh, in that conversation, it just
Yeah.
it, it's just getting the stories to share with people,
Exactly,
and
yeah. I
it
mean,
opens door for conversation, like the Pokemon trainer. What came along with that one? Is it just a childhood thing you used to do, or is it like, it's a newfound love?
after I started, being on my journey and learning about myself, I like to include childhood play
Okay.
in my life because I feel like I said at the beginning, I want all our little boys and little girls to grow up together. We want to be in better relationship. And what a
Mhm.
better place to have community than hunting Pokemon together.
So do you use the app and go out there and wander the streets and you go see what you might find?
Yeah, I
That's
made some
fun.
really amazing friends. We've gotten together during like there's
It
certain kind of
opens doors to conversation.
yeah, and special like special community days and stuff like that. Oh my gosh, it was I haven't done it in a while because I've been working on my workshops so far.
Yeah.
So it's something that I've had a group of friends that we did for the longest while. Um
Okay.
and can still do. But yeah, it's really fun. It's just accessing our inner joy and doing it together. I am all about togetherness and creating community of support. So the Pokemon community is quite large and you'll find I
Yeah,
mean,
it is a very big community, I'll give you
yeah.
that.
I mean we
There's a
go
lot of conversations to be had there.
like we'll go to Disney just to Pokemon hunt, not for the rides, but because there's so much Pokemon stops there, you know.
I bet there are.
Yeah, so it's
I've heard a lot of different things about Disney, so I'm iffy about going into anything Disney
I
anymore.
work for Disney, so what is you heard?
Nothing positive
Oh,
for the most
really?
part. Yeah. There's been a lot of different, negative things, especially along the, child trafficking stuff, so
Well, that is something that I just heard about with the ships, and I think that's freaking crazy. I mean, especially
it's
child
insane. Yeah,
trafficking
you
is
seen that? It was like
yeah.
what was it, like 15 or so
Yeah.
guys that were all involved? It's insane.
That's insane. That
But if you work for them, I don't wanna say too much, I don't wanna
I
get
don't
you in
care.
trouble by any
Oh, yeah,
means,
no, I
so
mean, I have autonomy for my own self. So, I mean, they don't rule my life. I mean, I I started working. I've been with them for 15 years now, so
oof.
it's been
What, at Disneyland or what?
I'm in Florida, so but I work off-site. I'm in Tampa and
Okay.
I'm a data analyst here in
Okay, so
the
you're not none of the princesses or nothing.
No, I used to work in the parks a while ago. I loved working in the parks for sure, but I'm more of an operations type of person, so I wanted to get behind the how to make it work. How do they get to make all of this work, you know? So that's
Mhm.
kind of where I reside. But there's so many things when it comes to, especially with what was revealed with the Epstein file and the sex trafficking, that like burns me to my core because when I was going through my divorce, what I learned is that family court and criminal court they don't talk to each other. So because he wasn't convicted yet, he still had access to the kids. And so when I
Mhm.
see everything that's been revealed and then nobody is being really punished, it reminded me that the law doesn't have any emotions. The law has been specifically designed to protect certain people from getting any kind of punishment. So
I
it's
I will I will say our laws are flawed.
Oh,
Um,
they're built for a reason. They're flawed for us, but they're built for a reason.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I mean, I see you're in it says St. Petersburg,
Yeah. Yeah.
which I've heard is a brilliant place,
Oh, I
but
love it
also
here. Oh, I love it here.
there's a if I'm not mistaken, isn't the hospital there behind one of the stories based off child trafficking as well?
I have no idea that I don't know. Maybe I you at this point you can't put anything past any of that. I believe child. This is why I've started my workshops. This is why I started the repair language. Oh my god, my hair is like a really crazy mess right now. This is why I started my workshops, especially at no cost, because No matter where you go, sex
Yeah.
trafficking is everywhere. It is everywhere.
Oh, it's
So
all over the place.
who are the people who are driving the vehicles? Who are the people who are maintaining the vehicles? The people who are the doctors and nurses, like they're everywhere, right? CPS, all of these people that are involved. So my thing is that what can I do? What is tangible for me to do? And the only thing that I feel like I could do is take the repair language to the
Yeah.
homes of people so that they can have better relationship with their children. Because
Mhm.
at the end of the day, when you're an angry teenager and all your belief system is in there, and you believe that mom and dad don't care, and like people are being snatched up and all of this stuff. So let's create a community where we are present and we're emotionally present for the children of the community so that we can
Yeah.
practice being in connection. And it starts from the ground up, because the higher up is not here to save us. They're not here to look out for us. They're not here to do anything. Literally have I can't believe that I had to and continue to have to struggle so much when it comes to minor things in this world to even get ahead, while the people who are rulers of the countries and in the big positions, they get away
Yeah.
with so much, but I have to be held to the ringer, and and I have to find a way to protect my children. What do you mean that I'm parental alienating my children when they are, I feel that they're at risk to be abused or whatever the case is. Like I
Or proven to be, and then you're still
and
allowing it to
nothing
happen.
happens. Like
Not you, but
I yeah,
the law.
there's literally the way that the judicial system is made, it is not to support moral injustice or moral betrayal. All of that is
Yeah.
nothing. It is literally, oh, what crime did you commit? Can you prove within the shadow of the doubt that you had the intention to commit this crime? Oh, no, you can't? All right. Where are all the evidence? Oh, let's make sure that the judicial system, the branches of the government are on top and underneath each other to hide and remove all of the evidence, and let's all label it as conspiracy theory. When you have the evidence in your hand, you have confessions, you have everything that says that this thing happened. But no, let's just make sure that we have to cross off all the
As
T's, dot all the I's, and prolong the justice system for years. Like, as I was going to court actively, right? He could have rolled his hearings 3 times. Every time there's a hearing that comes up, he has the ability to roll it 3 times. And that is on the ground level here with me. What happens up there when you have the executive branch and the judicial branch that are supposed to be impartial, that are
yeah,
not? I mean, we can
better not.
listen. Obviously, I can go on this damn topic for a long ass time, right? I try to protect my energy where I can, and I say protect because that is beyond my control. The only thing I
Yeah.
can do is to serve my children and the children of my community and everybody that I know. I want them to know repair language. Every freaking first Wednesday of the month, I have a workshop. It is no cost. Come to it, participate, and you're going to learn something. You're going to take home better information to be involved in your community. On every third Wednesday of the month is another workshop, and that one is for teams so that you can actually know what's going on with your coworkers and support them and give them resources and help. And then on
Mm.
the last Tuesday of the month is the one about money, because money beliefs is like so strong. And there's a people up there who have found all of the ways um to uh use the loopholes that are in the government,
Mm.
right? That allows you to make money that is available to every single Americans, that they don't know that they have a chance to also be that wealthy and succeed as well, right? So these are all things that I want to bring to the community, because I've experienced how terrible it is to rely on the government or the people that's supposed to be looking out or making laws and protect us. They do not show up for us. They
Yeah.
once they get into the government, they are no longer for the people. They can talk about it all they want, and I'm not saying everybody. They have been some very good candidates, and there's people who really
Mm.
come from their heart. But what happened to when it was the State of the Union address and everybody's walking around with their freaking white shirts, right? The whole mockery of like release the files, and then when it's time to vote on releasing the files, you vote no.
Yeah, no, I that too, that's and that they released a partial
Oh,
part of the
they
file.
did it in such a manipulative way, like, "Oh, we're gonna intentionally remove the names, but then we'll give you all the names so you can't prove that these people were really part of this thing." Like, they did
Well,
it in such a
'cause
sly and dirty
there's
way.
2 people getting in trouble for it, I believe, and one's that the prince, from Europe
But
out
he's
there
not even
somewhere.
getting in trouble for that. It was because he sold
Exactly.
secrets, like, it wasn't even for the
Mhm.
fucking re sorry.
Exactly. It's not about that, the whole the files anymore when they're punishing people that's in the files for other stuff and not claiming that they're a part of the file. But that's a whole other conversation because obviously I could go on and on and on about how I feel about all that stuff, and obviously you can too. So we can always share that part for another.
Yes, I'll come
Um,
back on fiery, then you'll see my anger.
um, um, but from right now, like, uh, I want to kind of backpedal a little bit because you mentioned um, what was it? Oh, I had such a brain fart going through that last conversation. I had other stuff worked in, but
That's
um,
why I have to have my
uh,
notepad because it'll
well, I normally do take notes, but I didn't want to seem too distracted, so I wanted to I want to give my full attention with it. You know what I mean?
Mhm, I understand, yeah.
So um, because true, like I find it interesting in the fact you're a more or less a vocal you're vocal about being a coach in the relationship aspect with knowing what to say, how to react and stuff like that, right? So you said you got into that because of some of the stuff you've gone through. Um so do you do you have an idea of what may come next? Like, is there a thing where uh do you hold big groups like in-person groups or is it a plan to be? Like
So
would that be something you would
mhm,
here's a I guess would that be something you would be willing to potentially take on the road
yeah.
and go city to city, sit with people either on stage in front of like crowds and almost do, so to speak, a Oprah type show where
S
or is that not the
no,
goal?
no, the goal is to have, to take my framework, and it's a 3-day workshop, and have,
Okay.
and it's an experiential workshop where we're sitting around and we're having activities, and it's broken up into um different activities that are gonna be more revealing about what's
Yeah.
underneath the repair language. So that's a whole 3-day workshop for anybody, for people who want to have more intensive action behind of it. For right
Okay.
now, it's virtual. The workshops are virtual, and and last Wednesday I hosted my first in person one. Um,
Okay.
yeah, I have a networking event that I'm one of the co-leader for here in St. Petersburg on the second Wednesday of the month. So I did a
Okay.
live workshop, and I plan to bring I've could so what it is speaking heart language
Yeah.
in the repair language, but it's also I converted into logic language so it could apply to people at work in teams. So
Yeah.
that you want to have a team where people aren't responding from pressure. You know how when people are working from resentment and all of that stuff, right?
Yeah.
So my goal is to this is gonna be a workshop that's gonna be intense for 3 days, and then the mini workshops are gonna be virtual, but the overall goal is
Okay.
to be able to do this in different countries as well, sit down at people's dinner
Oh,
table.
so you really wanna take it globally
Yeah,
then.
I want it to be
So,
just as
do
known
you
as the
know other languages? Do you know other
I
languages
do
than
not,
what you
but
know
it's a
right now?
great I mean, language is my thing now, so, I gotta
So you might as well learn it,
Yeah.
right?
You know how, people
Learn it you gotta learn at least 2 more.
Yes. You know how some people speak in frequency and energy and vibrations,
Right.
and I think mine is language. Everything has a language. It's just some, like, even AI has different language. No two AI is the same. They speak
Yeah.
different dialect, right? So I
Yep.
always tell people like, "Oh, Zine, you have an accent." I'm like, "I don't have an accent." But and my accent is, I don't speak a different language. I speak broken English. So it's like I always compare it to like the way Jamaicans speak. It's kind of like the way New Yorkers speak versus someone from Alabama and someone from me. It's more of like a drag out kind of like country style of the same language. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I was able to translate that into emotions, and yeah, that's my goal. I want the repair language to be just as important and impactful as a love language and the attachment styles, because it does incorporate that. It's a way to map
Okay.
what our emotional needs are. So when we are in conversation that can get difficult, we have a language that helps us to stay together and repair and truly have that connection, so that we're not carrying over resentment into the next argument. It prevents the next fight. It gives us a chance to see what we really need. And most of the time is to really have empathy, but everybody's different. So on my website, I'll kind of like plug that in a little bit. My website, if anybody wants to explore that, you go on there, you're able to take your quiz. When you take the quiz, it's not a lead generator. You get your answer right away. And I always encourage people to think the first two. One is your primary and one is your secondary. The primary one is what allows me to be to know what I need to stay in this conversation, and the other one is what allows me to stay for the repair for the other person. It gives it the chance for the other person to be a part of that as well. Now, not all repair means integration. Some repair just might mean like, all right, this is not the space that I want to be in. This is not good for me, and I need to take steps that are going to align better with my goals and my dreams and who I want to be. But essentially, you have a name for what you need. So let's say you and your wife are gonna, and I don't necessarily want to use you, a man and a woman, right? They're in an
You can use
argument.
me, it's fine.
Maybe your wife likes the accountable repair language, which is saying like, I understand how when I said this, and this, that it made you feel that, and that, right? And that may be just all
Mhm.
she needs to hear. And like, I get that's how it came off, but not dismissing it, right? It's like saying that's how
Yeah.
you felt, that's how it affected you, and here is how I want to do that differently. And maybe you want empathy. So when you are upset, and instead of, oh my God, he's a grizzly bear, I'm not saying that that's what happened, right? But like, he's
So
a,
this is your site, correct?
yes, it is my
Before we
site.
go too far?
Yeah.
I figured it would not hurt to
Yeah. Thank you.
pop it on and share it a little bit for you.
Yeah.
So you have these different links you can click on to
Yeah.
for, potential different lessons from you or
That'll be coming. But if you go up a little bit, scroll up a little bit where it says discover your repair language. That is the
uh
quiz that comes from the book. It's 30 questions,
okay.
and at the end you get the answer. If you go under books at the top there, then where it says view free resources,
All
I
right
don't
here.
know why it
Okay.
says my books are not there. I'm gonna have to check. What is happening to my website?
Yeah, I have no idea.
This is not what it was earlier. I have all these free things. Oh my gosh, I gotta talk to my website guy. I'm so embarrassed right now.
Oh, you're okay. It happens. Sometimes
Yeah,
you can get it a little mixed in, which it does take place sometimes, but
yeah.
either way, I would say if for people that would like to have some type of knowledge into it, this might be a best way to go through on it. Click on it, do the questions,
Accidentally.
and
Sorry, I was talking to
play
my
through.
daughter real quick. Yeah, actually, now I'm concerned because I have I have 4 downloadables that are completely free. So anybody who
Okay.
have experience with their attachment styles, they are able to see how repair can be done with that. So anybody who's listening, anything that's not on there, contact me. I'm going to be able to give it to you.
Okay.
I'll be able to send the link. I have one for money repair because that was something that I was in finances for a while and I learned a lot of things. But at the end of it, at the core of it is our money belief that is rooted in fear. So I want to make that's also a workshop to work through what our money beliefs is, but I have a downloadable for that.
Mhm.
And then I have one for
Okay.
teenagers for them to learn what their emotional needs are for when things get tough. And then one for teams. But now I'm upset. My website, what happened to it? Nothing is
Well,
there.
well, the positive thing is you found out now, so you can always get it worked
Yes.
in. The negative thing is it wasn't there, so we could show the rest. Um, but I am gonna go ahead and hop off here and let you get to figure that out, and
Yeah.
I'll get some of the details. I'll put that on here for you as well.
Yes. Thank you.
But thank you for joining me. Thank you for the
Oh yeah,
conversation.
we really have been on here for an hour and a half.
Yeah, we've
No,
been on
thank you
here
for
for a little
having
bit
me. I
now.
appreciate the conversation a lot.
It, it's no problem. Like I tell people, it might be an hour long, but if it goes longer, I don't stress it because conversation happens,
Yes, absolutely.
and
Yeah.
I enjoy conversations, so I have no hate on it.
Yeah.
And yeah, all in all, I appreciate you joining,
Yeah, thank you
and
so much. I will talk to you soon, and if you ever need another conversation, I'm here for it with fire.
most definitely.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.